Good morning, second grade math students. How are you doing today? It's good to be here with you. Had some computer issues the last couple of days, and it doesn't seem like it's fixed. So I'm gonna give this my best shot, and hopefully it works, and I can get it out to you today. Okay, we are starting our new unit of study, our new topic 10. And in this topic, you will learn about addition within 1,000. So addition strategies to use with 2- and 3-digit numbers. Some of this will be asking you to recall some information you learned earlier in the year. So it'll be tapping into your prior knowledge of fact fluency and place value, and also partial sums and models like number lines and drawing base 10 blocks and expanded form. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We are on 10.1. It's the first lesson in topic 10, and it's on page 433 in your workbook. And I've written the I can statement right here. And I'm going to read it to you, and you can read it with me, or you can read it at the top in your book on the right hand side. I can add 10 and 100 mentally using what I know about place value. Okay, once again, we're on 10.1, page 433. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do the solve and share. And for this, you're going to need your 100 script to check your work. You're going to need your book or your pencil, paper, or your whiteboard and markers, and something to erase with. And I'll go ahead and put this right here. My whiteboard, and I'll read it to you. And it says, Forest Park Nursery sells trees. Okay, Saul buys a maple tree for $125. A spruce tree costs 10 more than a maple tree. An elm tree costs 100 more than a maple tree. What is the cost of the spruce tree and an elm tree? Use dollar bills, if you have some, from your kit. Use place value blocks if you want to use those, or mental math to solve. Be ready to explain how you solve the problem. Okay, so you can pause the video right here and go ahead and do that. Reread it again. Circle the numbers like I've always instructed you to do. And then think about what they're asking you. Reread that last question. Okay, are you ready? I'm going to solve it for you, or we could solve it together. So what you ask yourself, what do we know? What do we know? Well, we know that the maple tree costs $125. Okay, remember that's the dollar symbol, and we use a decimal there to show that this is dollars and not cents. And then they want us to find out what the cost of the spruce tree is and what the cost of the elm tree is. So a spruce tree costs $10 more than the maple. So we're going to add 10 to the maple. And so now we have the cost of the spruce tree is $135. And then they want to tell you, they're telling you that the elm tree costs $100 more than the maple. So we already know that the maple's 125, so we're going to add 100 to this, and we're going to get the cost of the elm tree. 125 plus 100 equals $225. Okay, and that's how you would do that. right? And when you're going to explain your thinking, you would use place value to explain your thinking. And what did we learn in the last unit to help us explain using place value? What's happening? Which digits are changing when you add 10? And which digits are changing when you add 100? Okay, and I'll let you think about that because that's where your answer lies and that's how you explain your thinking. Which digits are changing. Right, let's go ahead and turn the page to 242 and we're going to do the visual learning bridge. Okay, so you can erase your whiteboard. Okay, and it says you can use mental math to add 10 or 100 to 3-digit numbers. Okay, so they give you an example in the guided practice, 325. So if we want to add 10 to 325, we can think about what we know about place value, which digit is changing when we add 10, this one, the tens digit, and we will end up with 335. Okay, and the next one, in 2, asks you to add 10 to 412. So we have 412, and we're adding 10, and we're thinking, which digit is changing when we're adding 10 in the place value chart? I think I might have my place value chart here somewhere. Which digit is changing? 412. And we're adding 10. So the tens digit is changing, and it's going to be 10 more. So we have 422. Okay, and then in 3, they ask you to add 100 to 500. And then again, you think which digit is changing when you add 100. When you're adding 100, which digit is changing? So we have 500. Which digit is going to change? The hundreds digit is going to change. So it's going to increase by 100. So it's going to become a 600 digit number. I mean, not a 600 digit number. That would be really big. It's going to be 6. I don't even know what that number is. It's going to become 600, a 3-digit number. All right, let's move on to number 4. And in number 4, they ask you to add 100 to 253. Again, which digit is changing when you add 100? The hundreds. So it's going to become 353. Okay. You can double check by using your hundreds grid. And when you're adding 100, you can make this 500, and then you're going to be adding 100, so you can make it 600. Count up. Okay. You can double check 253 by going to 53, putting a 200 there, and then adding 100 mentally, and it becomes 353. Okay, you can also double check the tens, 325. You can find 25 and put 300 there, and then add 10, and it's going to be 335. Okay, and then 412, go to the 12, put 400 there. Go ahead and put 400 in the next one. Okay, and then you're adding 10 up. It's going to be 422. So you can use this to check. Because the 100 grid repeats in every 100. The tens and the ones repeat in every hundreds. It's only the hundreds place value that's changing. So you can use your hundreds grid and put in an extra digit. Right, let's put that down for now. And then we move to the last part that is the very, very, very important piece, because that it might seem easy up until now, but the challenging part is when you start adding 10 and you have to actually change the tens digit and the hundreds digit. And you do that when you are right here on the hundreds grid. In the 90s, in any hundred, in any one of the hundreds, in 100 and 200 and 300, if you're in any of the 90s, when you change it, you will have to change both the hundreds digit and the tens digit, even though you're just adding 10. Okay, and why that is it's like a bundle. It's like making a bundle when you bundled the straws, when you bundle the popsicle sticks, when you bundle the base 10 box. It's also known as regrouping. And when you regroup, you move it to the next place value. It can no longer stay in the ones when you have 11. It becomes 110 and 1 1. It could no longer stay in the tens when you have 200. It becomes 200s. So it's bundling, regrouping. So it's very, very, very important to see if you have a 9 in your tens and you're adding 10, you will be going and shifting to the next 100. And that will be the trickiest part. So let that be a little red flag that goes off and say, oh, there is a 9 in my tens. Doesn't matter what's in the ones. It could be 192. And if you add 10, you're going to add 110, it's going to become a 10. And you have to shift that over here and make that 2. Okay, and that is why on the place value chart, this last line is here to help guide you with that transition. This last line here. And it doesn't, most not place value charts, most number grids don't end at 100 because they help guide you with that return sweep. Okay, so give that a try. Remember that the most challenging part will be when you have a 9 anywhere in the tens, because when you have a 9 in the tens, you are shifting and regrouping and moving to the next 100. Okay, and if you remember that, you will always be correct with your answers. All right, well, I'm going to read the focus question, the I can't statement one more time, and then we'll call it a day. I can add 10 and 100 mentally using what I know about place value. All right, have a good weekend, and I will see you next time. And please work up into 10-1, and if you want to work beyond to 10-2, that is okay as well. We're going to finish adding this week, and next week, the last week of school, we'll do subtraction. Okay, take care.